See, the Kashmiri Pandits, that is the only place where I know that it's Pandits. Generally, nowhere it is called as state Pandits and all this. Only in Kashmir Pandits. I was told that the majority is not there. It's only minority, 4 lakhs on odd population. Why was there so rift between Muslims and Hindus there, especially on Kashmiri Pandits? What was the reason?
No, you see, you have to look into the history of Kashmir pre-1986 and post-1986. There's a watershed. And again, pre-1971 and between 1971 and 1986.
1986. Bangladesh.
Creation of Bangladesh. You see, until 1971 or thereafter for some years, a decade or so, there was nothing like animosity between Pandit and a Muslim. You see, until 1986, at least I didn't come across any instance of Muslims vandalizing a temple, breaking idols, or wholesale abusing Kashmiri Pandits or maltreating them. Yes, some anti-social elements will be there in every community. That is different. But as a matter of rule, there was no animosity. There was nothing, one would say that Pandits were being ill-treated by Muslims, local Muslims. Politics is different.
Yeah.
See, Pandits were deprived of many opportunities, including educational institution admissions, vocational training admissions, in jobs, in promotion, all those things was there. That also led to Kashmiri Pandits migrating from Kashmir Valley to other parts of India. So that was there. But there was no such animosity. Now what happened? Why did this? How did this animosity?
Yes.
For that, you have to understand two things. One, the arrest of Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah in 1953. The question is, why did Nehruji got Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah arrested, having installed him as Prime Minister of J&K? The only answer is that Sheikh Abdullah crossed his limits. And the biggest blunder he did was, in the United Nations, he sought support of UK and USA for an independent Kashmir. Okay, and that was intolerable for Nehruji. He dismissed him and got him arrested. Simple, as simple as that. And by doing so, Mr. Sheikh Abdullah also violated Delhi Agreement of 1952. That is a matter of detail. So once he transgressed, once he questioned the integrity of India, Pandit Nehru, who dismissed him, arrested him, that needed lot of political courage and conviction.
Yes.
Whom are you arresting? The tallest leader of Kashmir, Muslims. At what stage? When India is a very nascent nation. It has too many problems to handle. The situation in which Britishers had left us is an astronomical task before that leadership. In that situation, when the leadership is trying to build India, to provide something to masses, he dismissed the tallest leader.
That is guts and courage.
Obviously. That means he will not tolerate anybody playing with integrity of India.
That's it.
You will be accommodated, but don't question integrity of India. You will not be tolerated, yes. Whatever you are. So he showed him his way, arrested him. So then you see the politics. Then his lieutenant, second in command, most trusted person, Mr. Sheikh Abdullah, Mirza Muhammad Afzal Beg, he raised the demand of plebiscite in Kashmir. And he quoted Mr. Nehru, that Mr. Nehru had publicly declared in Lal Chowk that plebiscite be held under UN auspices, under UN supervision. Okay. And Mirza Muhammad Afzal Beg did not say that Pakistan has come in the way of implementing UN resolution. So that kind of a political opportunism started with us. Okay. So there was an outfit by name Jamaat-e-Islami, who always stood for merger with Pakistan. They never changed their stand. They never bargained it for any lure of power. They stood by their demand.
Yes.
We want Pakistan merger. Why? Because commonality of religion is there. Then there was an establishment called Jammu Kashmir Liberation Front, who was quite nascent, who was just emerging, who stood for independent, sovereign J&K state. So these forces were there in order. But then after dismissal of Sheikh Abdullah, there was no hue and cry in public. Bakshi Ghulam Muhammad, who was his lieutenant of Sheikh Abdullah, he was made Prime Minister. From 1953 to 1964, 10 years he remained Prime Minister. He didn't get any elections conducted. He ruled and he ensured that there is no voice raised against India. He ensured that. In 1964, he resigned for different reasons. I will not go into those details. And Nehruji accepted his resignation. Then he installed his puppet by the name Mr. Shamsuddin for 6 months. Then thereafter, Mr. Ghulam Muhammad Sadiq, who again was a lieutenant of Sheikh Abdullah, they were same. He was made Prime Minister in 1964, something around that time. And he remained Prime Minister up to 23rd March 1965. Thereafter, he was relegated to the chair of Chief Minister. Remember this. This is very important political dynamics.
Prime Minister to Chief
Relegated from Prime Minister to Chief Minister and continued for a long time. Thereafter, Mir Qasim became Chief Minister. And in 1974, they signed Indira Sheikh Accord, according to which in 1975, Shri Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah took over as Chief Minister of J&K State. Just remember this, yes, Chief Minister.
Chief Minister.
In between what happened? 71. 71, Bangladesh was created. Now listen, there's no history book will tell you. This is my word of mouth history, as I have experienced. My horse's mouth.
Yes.
And I can give evidence for that. In 1971, after Bangladesh was created, this is the genesis. This is the genesis of hatred against Pandits. The turmoil starting 1986. This is the genesis. Creation of Bangladesh. In 1971, sometime grocery shop, whose owner was my father's classmate and very good friend. This grocery shop owner was Jamaat-e-Islami member. That is, what are his political leanings? He wants to merge with Pakistan. There's no criticism. It's a political leaning.
Yes.
And maybe he's entitled to that. I don't know. But he would always treat me like his own son, because he was my father's classmate and very good friends. So that day in 1971, sometime in May, as a matter of routine, I went to a shop. He exchanged some pleasantries with me and he offered me something to eat, which I ate, his bakery items and all that. Then he told me in Kashmiri, quote unquote is, India has disintegrated Pakistan. It has divided it into 2 parts. Don't you think we should do something about India now? Unquote. This is 1971 May.
Much before this exodus.
I was 20 years old.
Seed of the problem.
I gave him a smile. Then in Kashmir he told me, you are smilingly, not with any venom. He said, yes, you will never answer this question because you are an Indian Pandit and a national. And he gave a smile, I left. More important than this is, my father was a professor of chemistry. He taught in many colleges in Jammu and Srinagar and Valley and all that. But he also taught in Sri Pratap College, Srinagar, SP College, Srinagar, of which I was also a student for 4 years. Yeah. There was a senior chemistry lab in that college. And in the senior chemistry lab, there was what this post called senior gas man. This gas man would generate gas, but produce gas for supplying to the burners in the chemistry lab. Yes. His name was Ghulam Muhammad Bhatt. I don't know whether he is still there or not. He considered my mother as his sister. And his, again Jamaat-e-Islami person. He again belonged to Jamaat-e-Islami.
But still relations were very close and good between Hindus and Muslims.
Yeah. The politics is different.
Yes.
See, social level, socio-economic level, relationship is one. Political differences is another. Okay. And this gentleman, Ghulam Muhammad Bhatt, was our neighbor. And he used to frequent our house. I used to frequent his house. Right from 1971 until 1975-76, whenever I would meet him or he would meet me, he would tell me in Kashmiri, quote unquote, again, that I am very happy for you, Lalit. You are not going to settle in Kashmir, in Srinagar, and your 2 sisters will also not settle, I know, they will go out of Kashmir. And so your father will also leave and go out. I am very happy for you and your family, your father, because you are very nice people, you are humane, And why I am telling you this is because there is going to be bloodshed in Kashmir.
Bloodshed.
Bloodshed in Kashmir. Rivers of blood will flow. In Kashmir, he is telling me. And Pandits will be thrown out of the valley.
Pandits.
1971. Unquote. And this he kept repeating me from 71 to 75, 76. And whenever he said this to me, he hugged me with tears in his eyes for the sake that he was very happy that I will not be there.
Settling in.
Last time I met him was in this they can confirm. From SP College Srinagar, senior chemistry lab, senior gas man, Ghulam Muhammad Bhatt. He lived somewhere in that area he lived. Then he built his own house at a different place near Hindu High School, that area. Last time I met him in 1988.
88.
And he invited me for lunch in his house. So I, my wife and my two small kids, we went and had lunch with him, with his family. Very nice time we had. We took some gifts for him. His wife gave some gifts to us. Because that bond was there. He was like a maternal uncle to me. Because that bond of sister,
yes,
it was really there. It was not a show off. Emotional connect was there. So we had lunch, a nice time with him, and he saw us, he came out with us and saw us out. Again he hugged me. Again he told me the same words, and again tears in his eyes. So you did very well, Lalit, you did not stay back. As I have told you, it is already ready, it is going to happen. 1988. Okay. So Bangladesh. Now when 1975, when Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah agreed to become Chief Minister of J&K, the cadre of National Conference got disappointed with him because they wanted him to lead again the agitation for Kashmir. So the cadre of National Conference, they joined Jamaat-e-Islam. And JKL was already in the news. They were already active. So this combined, and border was very porous. And there was already some contact with the Pakistanis. So what started was a cross-border travel without any checks. So they got trained in Pakistan. They were indoctrinated by the Maulvis and Mullahs who were borrowed from UP and Bihar, not Kashmiri Maulvis. Indoctrination in pure Islam.
So
that does not tolerate infidels. No, I can tell this to any Muslim leader. That does not tolerate any infidel. Therefore, Pandits were the infidels. And if Kashmir had to accede to Pakistan, then infidels can't be in Kashmir. So they had to be removed. This was the indoctrination which was carried out along with arms training right from, you can say, mid-70s, 72, 73, right up to eruption of insurgency in Kashmir. This Kashmiri Muslim youth who was only good at throwing stone as a matter of protest, some pebbles, in which we would also join him at our young age. Something happened,
throw.
And who would enjoy songs of Muhammad Rafi and Lata Mangeshkar and filmy songs. And the girls who would be state-of-art fashion, Kashmiri girls, Muslims and Hindus both. Okay? They were radicalized there. This is the tragedy of Kashmir. They were radicalized. They were radicalized to the extent of filling their hearts and mind with the hatred for infidels, Kashmiri Pandits, for two reasons. One, they are Hindus, they are idol worshippers, which Islam dictates them to do. Second, they are Indian, they consider India as their country. They are nationalists, they are patriots. That is why the exodus, the fourth exodus, happened on January 19th, 1990. When our community members, they left in panic without even caring to pick up their baggage, without even caring to lock their houses.
Forget about the properties, not even luggage.
And because many things had happened before that. And how that happened is another story. That also I can tell you. What kind of preparation was done?
1990 you said this is all done, but I think Anantnag and all those is
86.
86, much before. Yes.
See, that
was the trigger point.
That was the test. No. They tested the waters, whether government of India or the state government will act against them or not. Nobody acted.
4 years before.
Nobody acted.
That's why
they made him Home Minister of India. They made Mufti Muhammad Saeed, who had engineered their riots. Even a Kashmiri Muslim will tell you that. Forget about Pandits. Pandits will anyway tell because we were the sufferers. For the first time in my knowledge, idols and temples were vandalized in Kashmir. For the first time in my knowledge. Forget about Islamic rule, Muslim rule. So they tested the waters, whether government of India or state will act. Nothing happened. They were not.
So it's a failure of government.
Nah.
Failure of government.
They understood that government is not going to act. The army will be standby only. They will not act. Police will not act. The entire state machinery had been compromised. You will be amazed to know that the indoctrination was such and the planning was such that they had made a encyclopedia of Kashmiri Pandits in 20 years. They would know my address, my location, my profession, my family, whether I have a son or a daughter, how many children, whether all those details they had kept.
Recce.
They had done. So when they started targeted killings, they knew where to go and whom to kill. And all this when they did, they never told any Kashmiri Pandit friend that they are doing this. They are very pally. This is one type of jihad. This is one type of jihad. They are very pally. As if nothing was going to happen. But in between they would give hints. Okay, you are building this house, this house, one day it will only come to me. Okay. We say, okay, fine. We are such an idiots. We never understood their game plan. Because we always thought, okay, we have been living together for so long. Despite 1986, some shaking was there in our community.
Anantnag.
So this is a very well designed, very well planned indoctrination in which the so-called mainstream parties like National Conference, that time PDP was not there, People's Democratic Party, it was not there. National Conference, the Jammu Kashmir Congress, people and other parties who were, anyway, Jamaat-e-Islami you can't blame, they were always for that. They were all in league. That is why Farooq Abdullah, Chief Minister of J&K, fled to London for playing golf. Who doesn't know that? Who doesn't know that?
But in a recent interview he was telling that he was not the Chief Minister at the time of...
Because he fled, he was Chief Minister. He resigned and he fled. Whom is he fooling?
He has given an open interview with India Today.
And who was Home Minister? Mufti Muhammad Saeed. And who got that his daughter kidnapped? He only. Muslims will tell you that. Why? To allow release of those terrorists,
yes,
or militants they would call them those days, and allow distribution of arms across the valley. And he was Home Minister. Who made him Home Minister? VP Singh. How? He asked him to fight from Saharanpur seat or somewhere in UP or Muzaffarnagar.
But if I am right, even BJP was supporting that government, VP Singh government at that time.
You see, that's why I am telling you, there are two key words. One is VP Singh was Prime Minister. Other thing is Mufti Muhammad Saeed was Home Minister. Now this party of VP Singh was being supported government by BJP and communists from outside. Now I have been saying it for last more than 30 years that the exodus of Kashmiri Pandits and their annihilation, their genocide, there was a national level political consensus about it. Every part, including BJP. Why? When the exodus was on, one press reporter informed VP Singh, public hai, it is in public domain, that Pandits are fleeing Kashmir and they have been robbed of their this thing, that thing, and they have been killed and rapes have been there. You know what VP Singh replied as a Prime Minister? He says, who Pandits?
Who Pandits? Prime Minister?
Yes. Now he said, who Pandits? Okay, fine, because his Home Minister was Mufti Muhammad Saeed, who was responsible for 1986 riots. You see the game plan. Now BJP, forget about communists.
Yes.
BJP with Janda, BJP, Hindu.
Yes.
BJP as a party who is supporting this VP Singh government did not question this Prime Minister. Did not raise a point in his parliament. You answer, why did you say who Pandits? What do you mean by that? You retract your statement and apologize. No. But same VP Singh, when he sought to implement Mandal Commission, they withdrew support.
Yes.
That means what? BJP was in league in their political consensus that Pandits had to be thrown out.
Surprising.
Why? There was a peace, to bargain for peace, to buy peace. What did they achieve here by throwing out Pandits? Islamic State, Islamic Kashmir. Okay, you want to join Pakistan, you don't join, we will make Kashmir an Islamic state, there will be only Muslims and you rule. This is the politics behind it. And how many temples they have demolished, nobody knows. But recently, 1 year ago, in Bhadarwah, they demolished temples.
Yeah.
Why in India they do, no?
Yes.
The Muslim leaders, political and religious leaders, they encourage them. And then, having vandalized temples, they will beat their chest and then say Islamophobia. This is the smartness. So they have been doing that. They will call some Shaitani Gufa. The Sun Temple, yes, they used to call Shaitani Gufa. See, this is not their fault. This is what Islam is all about. You read Holy Quran. I have nothing against it. You read the life of Prophet Muhammad. You read Hadith. It's a wonderful thing to read. It tells you the political philosophy of Islam. And I am nobody to criticize it. Because Islam ruled this world for 1200 years. Caliphs and Ottoman Empire. I mean, it's remarkable. 1200 years of rule means there must be some strength in that philosophy. So I am nobody to criticize. But I am telling you why this happened. See, you cannot indoctrinate a person imagining something in the air. If the law of Allah as documented in the Holy Quran, on that law of Allah only, this Maulvi will tell you, this is what Allah has ordained for you. As an ordinary Muslim, can I contradict that? I cannot. I am not to be blamed. That Maulvi is not to be blamed. That Maulana is not to be blamed, because they are to teach Islam. And now this concept in Islam is not only about this. It is about economics. It is about jurisprudence. It is about many other things, how to do business. It is about property rights. It's about writing a will and all. Everything is there. It's not only just this. But to achieve a political aim, they use this.
Yes, instrument.
You understand that.
Yes, correct.
It is not Islam is just this. The political philosophy of Islam, or
interpretation of these people.
This for their political gains.
Yes, interpretation of these people.
This ayat, chapter number 9, ayat number 5 tells you this. I will not quote that. I don't want. So, if you are a true Muslim, you must do this. What is the aim? Political. Aim is political. So that kind of interaction took place, which led to mass exodus. I mean, there was this Yasin Malik. I will tell you the compliance kya hai. See, this Yasin Malik is on record in his interview with DD, Doordarshan.
Yeah, it is there.
Sometime in June 1990 or May 1990. I'm not sure. He says he doesn't remember how many Pandits he murdered and how many women he disgraced. He says he doesn't, and he says it was his duty. What more evidence you want, yaar? Similarly, his comrade in arms, Bitta Karate, he is also on record in a video. Now, the same Yasin Malik was treated as a VIP by Manmohan Singh, by Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and same prime ministers, be it Narasimha Rao, be it Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, be it Shri Manmohan Singh, they all entertained them as VIPs and engaged themselves in negotiation with Hurriyat and provided state security to these people who were fighting a campaign against Indian integrity. This is a tragedy.
Including Vajpayee.
Including Vajpayee. Let them deny this. What is your business in negotiating with anti-national elements, bhai? When there is a UN resolution, you know who has defaulted, you know what is the Kashmir issue, you know who created Kashmir problem. What is there to negotiate? You are not sure of it that Kashmir is an integral part of India. What is your doubt? What are you trying to negotiate? You are willing to give Kashmir to them. Then what about resolution that you passed in Indian Parliament in 1994? Then why did you have to pass the resolution in first place? What about efforts of Nehruji, Gandhi, Patel Sahab and others who ensured that J&K is a part of India? What about those efforts? Who are you to question that, bhai?
But if I remember, Vajpayee ji was always telling, Delhi dur bhi nahi hai, hamara dil bhi dur nahi hai. You come, we'll solve.
What is he going to solve? What is that means they accepted Kashmir as a problem?
Yes.
Why did they accept? They are negating what Sheikh Abdullah in his address to UN said about India and Pakistan, how we praised India, how we praised instrument of accession, how we praised democratic polity of India, democratic dispensation of India. They are negating that. What are they negating here? What are they negating? What are they negotiating? Where are they entertaining Pakistan on what? Once you say, I am ready to negotiate with Pakistan as they did, that means you are accepting that Kashmir is a problem. That means you are negating everything that others did, the great people, the great souls did to retain J&K as a part of India. You are even more anti-national than, if you may choose to call Sri Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah. What are you negotiating? You first answer that question. How can you provide state security? How can government of India give funds for security of Mr. S.A.S. Jilani, Yasin Malik, Bita Karate and other so-called mainstream who are essentially anti-national, who are leading a campaign against India to see that Kashmir secedes from India, and you are providing state security? Why, bhai? What's your problem? So that is the compliance. They were in hand in glue and they succeeded in ensuring that Kashmir becomes a purely Muslim region. So Islamic, many things have happened. They have brutalized Kashmir. They have dehumanized Kashmiri society, which includes both Muslims and Pandits. I mean, it is a tragedy. It's a tragedy.